So much to unpack these days. Roe v. Wade, Roe v. Wade, Roe v. Wade, oh my God. In the 60s, they said the revolution will be televised. And after the riots of last year, what? That's not news speak? After the peaceful protests last year. Newspeak is a concept from the book 1984, which is an absolute must for everyone to become aware of. If you're too lazy to read the book, watch the 3 movies. Behind all these controversies is money and depopulation. Abortion is a way to slow down the birth rate. So those who wish to get rid of most of humanity are pro-abortion. Doctors and clinics are making a literal fortune hand over fist, killing babies. And that's not the worst of it. Where do the baby bodies go? I've seen this once. It was horrific. I saw a dumpster full of aborted, literally a dumpster like 40 feet long, 12 feet wide, 9 feet high, full of a slurry of dead babies. And they dumped this into a landfill, and you could see all the little tiny skulls rolling down on top. This was in the USA, so these are little American skulls rolling downhill. The real evil is parts of the baby are used for, the livers are used for food flavoring. To make your food taste better, also turns you into a cannibal and a Satanist. Other parts of the placenta and possibly the baby are used to make youth serums for the people who can afford that. So my personal opinion is the backlash against abortion is not a moral or ethical issues. God forbid there should be morality or ethics in the way that America runs itself. But doctors losing money, clinics losing money, food manufacturers losing money, gorgeous people, whether they be rich people, actors, actresses, or models, or the cognoscenti. Look it up. This is unconscionable evil. And it goes on 24 hours a day, worldwide. And I was a science kid. I read entire libraries full of books. The population, overpopulation is BS. We could have 250 billion people on this planet and operate it safely. And the technology to do that was already extant in popular mechanics in the 60s, 50s and 60s, and we have 70 years of improvement on top of that. Also, I've met dozens of women in my lifetime who've had abortions, and let me tell you, you never recover from that. Because you murdered a human being, and you murdered your baby, and you were too weak to accept the responsibility of raising that baby. And it ruins your life. And the excuses are based on, it will ruin my life, I'll get kicked out of my family, I'll lose my job, I'm too young to do this, etc., etc. I don't want to bring a child into this world, etc. These are excuses to make your life better, but exactly the opposite happens. You have this thing which will ruin the rest of your life. So from my experience, I would say do not do this. You're going to get exactly the opposite effect. And the film where I saw this slurry of dead babies being dumped into a landfill, the man who was giving this lecture said, how poor a country are we that we have to sacrifice our own children or that new car, that house, that college education, that better job. It changed my mind on abortion. And if you ever meet a baby that was not aborted, you meet an incredible, unique human being that you can't imagine your world being without. So the revolution would be televised. I would surmise, and in my personal opinion, these riots against that decision by the Supreme Court are being paid for by people who are making money from the dead babies through whatever avenues, frameworks, and one does not want to wind up in front of a judge. And if you wind up in front of a judge and you lose, the best thing you can hope for is your lawyer will appeal it to a higher court, or maybe even the Supreme Court. And if you lose in Supreme Court, it's over. If you're going to attack the Supreme Court, you don't want to wind up in front of the Supreme Court. So look into thine own hearts. Also, if you're the father and you talk the mother into getting the abortion, you're just as guilty. There's a phrase in the religious technology which is, he also sins who carry the bags. And what that means is the devil came to town and there was somebody else carrying his bags for him. But this is, they're also involved in the crime. Accessory, which is punishable by our legal system. And not provable. The being itself is actually in the sperm. So the minute the sperm fertilizes the egg is the beginning of new life. Not being a female, I don't know what's with the egg, if the egg has a being in it. So for my part, which is a phrase from English literature, I think life begins at fertilization. So all these arguments about 3 days, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, all that is BS. These are justifications for killing the baby. And if you want to learn about justifications, look at Jurassic Park and listen to Jeff Goldblum asking people when was the last time they went 6 weeks without a good justification. Also, I don't think governments should pay for killing babies. And if you want to say it's a woman's right to choose, then yeah, you choose. You pay for it. You got yourself into the situation, and why should someone else pay for that? Except that the moneymakers have coerced the system, as they always do. If we could only get the government to pay for it, we have an easy ride. And appended to that, if the government is okay with paying for killing babies, this is in the arena of them killing citizens. So next comes euthanizing the old people because they're expensive and useless. And then comes sterilization of the people with genetic damages. And then undesirable political people. And not to go religious on you, but one of the Jesus sayings is, cast not thy seed upon the ground. And that probably has more than one meaning. Before the advent of that man, we had a barbarism on the planet. And he came here to do exactly what he did, which is to change the situation from barbarism to Christendom based on principles he introduced, which was, over the last 2,000 years, we've had the Ten Commandments and the flow of things into a more ethical society. And we have Holy Russia, which used to be Muslim for a while. Most of Europe is Catholic in some form or another. England is biblical in some form or another, nor Canada, USA, Mexico, very Christianish through the Spanish, South America, and Australia. So that's the effect that was created. And it's under attack now. Because that kind of behavior, the rise in ethics above barbarism, is thwarting the plans of those who wish to dominate and kill. So I've been working very hard on us for the last 100 years to undo as much as they can of ethics, morality, and the family unit. And we have now the electronic media as a means of programming the now generation. These people take their time. And rather than the glory which was Rome, which is the caterpillar, a form of warfare and a sword in your guts, we're going to have digital chips connected to AI, which will be controlling us through pain, if not direct mental control. The science fiction world, which is, you can see in every second movie that comes out, is about a gray dystopian future where people are wearing clothes they've had on for 10 years and standing around a fire in an old oil barrel, dreaming of freedom. We don't need to go to Mars, we need to fix the stranglehold the psychopaths have on our life on the planet.